Have you ever felt that your struggles, your moments of doubt and darkness, aren't just personal failures, but part of a much larger, sacred design? What if the story we've been told about creation, sin, and redemption is missing its most crucial chapter? A chapter that was intentionally hidden, suppressed, and dismissed as heresy. What if that feeling you sometimes get, that this world is beautiful but somehow off, that you don't quite belong here, isn't a symptom of your own brokenness, but the most profound evidence of your divine origin? For centuries, we've been handed a narrative of sin and shame. It's a story that begins with a transgression in a garden and a fall from grace. But there's another story, an ancient story, older than the institutions that buried it, that speaks not of sin, but of longing, not of punishment, but of cosmic participation. It's the story of Sophia, the lost goddess of wisdom, and her plunge into matter. Understanding her story won't just change how you see the universe, it will change how you see yourself. So, let's uncover the Gnostic truth that Sophia's fall wasn't a cosmic mistake, but a divine design for light to know itself through your eyes. Let's start with a feeling. It's so common, it's practically the background noise of modern life. A sense of alienation, a quiet suspicion that you're an exile in your own life, a stranger in a familiar land. You look at the world, at its breathtaking beauty and its unspeakable cruelty, and you feel a profound dissonance. You strive, you build, you love, you lose. And through it all, there's a persistent whisper. Is this really it? This feeling is often diagnosed as depression or existential angst. The dominant spiritual narratives of the West call it original sin. They tell us our very nature is flawed, that we're born separated from God because of something an ancestor did. This story, while offering a framework of guilt and redemption, often leaves the soul feeling inadequate and broken. It teaches that suffering is a punishment, and salvation must be earned from an outside authority. But does that truly answer the deepest questions of your heart? Does it explain those radiant moments of transcendence that break through the ordinary? Or that unshakable gut feeling that, despite all evidence, there is a core of indestructible light inside you? The problem of evil and suffering remains a gaping wound in most theology. Why would a perfect, all-powerful creator make a world so full of pain? Why are we born into a system that seems built for struggle and loss? The Gnostics, ancient mystics whose texts were systematically destroyed, offered a radical and empowering alternative. They saw this feeling of alienation not as a sign of sin, but as a symptom of amnesia. They taught that feeling like a stranger in this world is the most accurate perception you can have, because you are a stranger here. That ache in your soul isn't sickness, it's homesickness. Imagine waking up in a beautifully decorated room, only to find the doors locked and the windows barred. This is the Gnostic view of our material world, a magnificent prison. The rules of this prison are designed to keep you distracted, to make you forget you're a prisoner. These rules are enforced by cosmic wardens, the archons, who thrive on our ignorance and fear. They are the architects of fate, the voices of consensus reality, telling you to keep your head down and accept the world as it is. The pain and struggle you experience aren't punishment for a forgotten crime. They are the friction of a divine being, you, confined within a limited material system. That sense that the world is off is your spiritual memory, your higher self, rattling the bars of the cage and whispering that this isn't your true home. But what if this prison has a secret? A hidden design flaw left not by the jailer, but by a higher power. To understand this, we have to go back, before the beginning we know, to uncover a cosmic epic that reframes this prison not as a place of damnation, but as a crucible for divinity itself. This is the story of Sophia. To understand this forbidden knowledge, we first have to set aside the creation story we all know. We have to travel beyond the Garden of Eden into a realm of pure, unimaginable light. Part A, the Pleroma, a realm of fullness. The Gnostics taught that before matter and time, there was only the monad, the One. This is the ultimate, unknowable God, a silent abyss of pure potential. From this source, a series of divine beings, or eons, unfolded like rays from a sun. These were living archetypes: truth, love, intellect, life. Together, these eons formed the Pleroma, a Greek word meaning fullness, a perfect, harmonious realm of light. Part B, the fall of Sophia, wisdom. Among these beings was the youngest and most audacious eon, Sophia, whose name means wisdom. Dwelling at the edge of the Pleroma, she gazed at the infinite light of the Father and was overcome with a passionate desire to know the source by creating something of her own. And here's where the cosmos pivots. In her passion, Sophia made a critical error. She acted alone, without her divine partner, and without the full sanction of the Spirit. It was an imbalanced surge of pure creative desire. This wasn't an act of rebellion or evil. It was an act of immense, unbridled love and curiosity that broke the perfect harmony of the Pleroma. Because her creation was conceived in this imbalance, the result wasn't a being of light. From her passion, a monstrosity was born. Horrified, Sophia looked upon a chaotic entity, often described with the head of a lion and the body of a serpent. Yaldabaoth, the child of chaos. Ashamed and terrified, she cast this aborted creation out of the Pleroma, hiding him in a dark cloud so the other eons wouldn't see her mistake. Part C, the creation of the material world. Alone in the void and ignorant of the luminous realm above, Yaldabaoth looked around and saw nothing but himself. In his profound ignorance, he made a declaration that has echoed through his flawed creation ever since. I am God, and there is no other God but me. This is the Gnostic secret about the Creator God of the Old Testament. He wasn't the ultimate, compassionate monad, but the demiurge, a lesser craftsman, a blind and arrogant entity who mistook his small kingdom for all of existence. Using the power he unwittingly inherited from his mother, he fashioned the material universe as a poor imitation of the divine Pleroma he couldn't see. He created the planets, the laws of physics, and time. To help rule his realm, he created the archons, the cosmic bureaucrats who work to keep us in a state of spiritual amnesia. Our material world, then, wasn't the deliberate creation of a benevolent God. It was the unintended consequence of a divine being's passionate error, a counterfeit cosmos built by an ignorant God. This is the true origin of the prison we feel trapped in. Part D, the divine spark, Sophia's secret intervention. But the story doesn't end there. Sophia, filled with grief and repentance, didn't abandon the world her error had caused. As the demiurge and his archons fashioned the first human, Adam, they created a magnificent but lifeless body. It's at this pivotal moment that Sophia makes her move. As described in texts like the Apocryphon of John, she cleverly advises the arrogant demiurge to animate his creation by blowing his own spiritual essence into Adam. Yaldabaoth, not realizing this power came from his mother, does as she says. He breathes the light of Sophia into the clay form. In that instant, everything changed. Adam came alive, his intelligence shining brighter than his own creator's. The demiurge and his archons became jealous and terrified, realizing this new being now possessed a consciousness superior to their own. This is the most profound secret of the Gnostic myth. Within every human is a divine spark, a fragment of the Pleroma's light, a piece of Sophia's own essence. We are the accidental descendants of a blind God, yet we carry a particle of the true God within us. Her fall is our fall. Her exile is our alienation. And her yearning for redemption is our soul's deep, unquenchable longing to return home. If this story is stirring a memory deep inside you, a feeling that you finally found words for what you've always known, then join us. Subscribe to Ancient Wisdom Codes, because uncovering this myth is just the first key to unlocking who you really are. Now, let's bring this epic down from the heavens and into the temple of your own being. The Gnostics taught that the universe mirrors the individual. The entire drama, Sophia's fall, the demiurge's ignorant creation, and the embedding of the light spark, isn't just some ancient history. It's a psychological and spiritual process happening inside you right now. Part A, your personal fall, the Sophia within you. Think of the times in your life when, driven by unchecked ambition or a profound longing, you acted impulsively. You made a decision without consulting your whole self, letting your heart's desire outrun your mind's foresight. Maybe it was a relationship you threw yourself into, or a career you chased for the wrong reasons. These are your personal falls. Just like Sophia, we fall when one part of our psyche acts without the consent of the whole. Gnosticism reframes these moments not as sins to be ashamed of, but as Sophia impulses. They are the natural consequence of a fragmented consciousness trying to find fullness. The ego, like the demiurge, believes it's the master of the house, ignorant of the deeper self from which it came. When it acts alone, it creates a flawed reality of confusion and suffering. But here's the key. Sophia's mistake was the very event that allowed the divine spark to enter matter. Without her fall, there would be no humanity and no chance for the light to experience itself in this world. In the same way, your personal falls, your beautiful mistakes, are the sacred wounds through which light enters. The descent into darkness is a necessary part of the divine design, because it's only against a backdrop of shadow that light can become truly conscious of itself. Part B, the divine spark, your inner light. That spark Sophia hid within Adam is your higher self. It's the silent, ever-present observer within you that watches your life unfold, untouched by the drama and pain. That feeling of alienation we talked about? It's the divine spark remembering its home in the Pleroma. That deep, existential ache for something more? That's the spark seeking gnosis, not intellectual information, but direct, felt knowledge of the divine. For the Gnostic, salvation isn't about being saved from sin. It's about being saved from ignorance through remembrance. The chaos we see in the world and the crises in our own lives are not random. From a Gnostic view, they are catalysts, cosmic alarms designed to shake us from our spiritual slumber. They are the demiurge's flawed world, cracking under the pressure of the rising light. Your personal crises are a call to action from your soul, an invitation to stop identifying with the prison and start identifying with the divine prisoner inside. Part C, the rising feminine, integrating your wisdom. Sophia represents the archetype of the divine feminine, intuitive, holistic, and wise. The demiurge, on the other hand, embodies the unbalanced masculine principle, rigid, dogmatic, and obsessed with control. The world he built, our world, is a testament to this imbalance, valuing intellect over intuition and power over compassion. The journey of transformation, then, is a journey of integration. It's about healing the split between your inner demiurge and your inner Sophia. In Jungian psychology, this is called integrating the anima and animus. It means honoring your intuition as much as your intellect. It means letting the wisdom of your heart guide the actions of your mind. A midlife crisis, for example, can be seen as the eruption of the suppressed Sophia, shattering the ego's rigid structures to make way for a new synthesis of wisdom and love. Part D, practical gnosis, awakening the spark within. This ancient wisdom isn't just a fascinating story, it's a practical path. So how can you begin this great work of remembrance? 1. Know thyself through self-observation. The primary Gnostic commandment is know thyself. This starts with unflinching self-observation. When you feel a strong desire or emotional reaction, don't judge it. Instead, ask, from where in me does this arise? Is it a Sophia impulse, a pure creative longing? Or is it a demiurgic impulse, rooted in fear, control, or the need for validation? This turns your daily life into a living laboratory for gnosis. 2. Contemplation and remembrance. Dedicate time each day to quiet contemplation. The goal isn't to empty your mind, but to shift your identification. Sit and gently repeat a phrase like, I am not my thoughts. I am not my body. I am the divine spark that witnesses both. Visualize a point of indestructible light in your chest. This practice weakens the hypnotic grip of distraction and strengthens your connection to the silent observer within. 3. Strategic withdrawal. The Gnostics practiced asceticism not as self-punishment, but as a way to withdraw energy from the demiurge's system. You can do this in modern ways. Take a digital detox, fast from media, or spend time in nature, away from the artificial noise. These acts quiet the archons, allowing you to hear the subtle whispers of your inner wisdom. 4. The sacred union. Ancient mystics spoke of a sacred marriage, not between two people, but within yourself. It is the reunion of your human soul with your divine spark. You don't need a complex ritual for this. Simply visualize your human self, with all its flaws and struggles, embracing your radiant divine self. In this union, judgment fades, and you become whole again. This is the ultimate healing the Gnostics sought. The Gnostic story of Sophia flips the conventional narrative of our existence on its head. It tells us that your struggles are not a mark of your failure, but the sacred terrain of your becoming. Your deepest wounds are the doorways for the most profound light. Your feeling of being lost in this world is the compass pointing you home. Sophia's fall wasn't a sin. It was a cosmic act of love, a daring design that allowed the infinite light of God to experience itself through the finite, to know itself in the shadows, and to remember itself through the crucible of a human life. This myth isn't just something to believe, it's something to be lived. It's a mirror reflecting the divine drama playing out in the theater of your soul. The fall into forgetting has already happened. The wandering in the wilderness is happening now. But the third act, the act of awakening, of gnosis, of remembrance, that is a choice you can make. Look at your life, your scars, and your struggles. See them not as blemishes, but as the holy footsteps of a God in the process of remembering itself. The light is within you. The wisdom is within you. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Look back at your own life. What was a moment that felt like a fall, but actually planted the seeds for your greatest growth? Share your story in the comments below. Let's show each other that our darkness is often just the soil for our light. The light is within you. The wisdom is within you. It's time to awaken.